Hey guys, welcome to our YouTube channel Mainframe Girls. As a series of IDCAMS videos are going on, so this is the next video on IDCAMS, which is export disconnect. I'll tell you when, why, where, and what are the parameters of export disconnect, and with some examples in this video. So, what is export disconnect? So it is mostly used for a catalog. Okay, so the word disconnect itself tells you that it is breaking some connection between two of the data sets, right? So here we are breaking a disconnection or connection between two catalogs. It could be a user catalog or a master catalog, whatever the catalogs we are, like suppose when do we run export disconnect and what is it? Just it's a command which is used to disconnect a user catalog. Just imagine that there is a user catalog and you want to disconnect it from a master catalog. So what do? So you submit this job or this command which will break this connection between master catalog and user catalog. Or sometimes if you want some aliases to be removed and permanently some aliases to be removed from that user catalog, at that time also you submit this export disconnect. Okay, export have these three. As export separately is an IDCAMS command which you do, but export disconnect is separately taken as a required parameter to disconnect the catalogs from the master catalog or the user catalog. These are the three parameters which are there in the export disconnect. User cat name, disconnect is the important parameter which you will be using, and a catalog name if you want the data set. If you want your user cat name to be removed from a particular catalog, means not from master catalog. As I told you, if you remember previously in videos, all the catalogs are mapped to a single catalog called as master catalog. Okay, so all the user catalogs, whatever user catalogs are there in the systems, are mapped to a master catalog. So when you submit this job without a catalog name, that whatever user cat name you have given here, it will be disconnected directly from a master catalog. But if you want this particular user cat name to be disconnected from some particular user catalog, then you have to give a catalog name here. I'll explain you why and when we do this export disconnect and explain you in detail what does this parameters are. So when and why and when you run the export disconnect. There are many times, there are very important times where you run this export disconnect. The first time is merging a catalog. Okay. So what is this merging a catalog? You will be merging two catalogs into one catalog. At that time, you will be running this export disconnect. This thing that if the catalog is shared between the LPARs. Suppose if this is one of the catalog and this is another catalog which you are merging these two catalogs. So you will be copying all the entries of this, all the alias entries of this catalog to the other catalog. Okay, then you have to delete this user catalog. So before deleting, you have to check if this have entries in all other systems. If it is, if suppose it's an if it is a system of three LPARs, if this is plex of three LPARs, and if it is connected to three of them, and then you have to run an export disconnect to remove the connection between them and delete this user catalog. After merging, like after copying all the details to a one single data set, user catalog, then you have to run an export disconnect first, then you have to delete this user catalog. Then only then you can delete that particular user catalog. What then you can you have to do it when you are doing a resize of a catalog if the master catalog is not shared between the LPARs. The thing is that sometimes you will be having a different master catalog. Suppose this is a sysplex of three systems and they have a single user catalog and which entry is mapped to all of them, and you want to resize this particular user catalog, At that time, if you are running this on a Plex 1, you have to run a disconnect on this system and this system to remove that connection and do a resize in this particular system. And after this, again you can run an import connect to establish a connection back. Okay, so this is the time when you run an export disconnect to release the connection between the other systems when they have a different master catalog. And the next time is moving catalog to a different volume if the master catalog is not shared between the LPARs. This is also the same condition if it has a different LPAR connections, and if you are moving this user catalog to a different volume, at that time it's recommended to delete the connection between the other LPARs and move it again, establish a connection with an import connect. Okay, when you're moving, because these are three different master catalogs and it is in different in each of the system, it will be in a different way, it will be defined in a different, the entries will be different. So just avoid a clash between all of them. It's recommended to run a export disconnect first, and in the system in which you are submitting the job, you can keep it in a connection. But in another systems, if the master catalogs are different master catalogs, you have to run this export disconnect. Moving catalog to a different system. Suppose if you are moving catalog to a different system and the old system does not need this catalog anymore. At that time, if you run export disconnect to that particular system, it will automatically just do the disconnection to the master catalog, and master catalog will never know that there is a user catalog in this name if you are running a export disconnect. Deleting the catalog entry permanently to remove the connector in a master catalog, or if the catalog is shared with the other systems. So if you want, if suppose this is a master catalog and this is a user catalog, and you want the entry to be deleted in the master catalog permanently, then you have to run export disconnect. If you run export disconnect, the entry in the master catalog will be deleted permanently. And another thing, deleting all aliases from the catalog. Suppose you have a request saying that if you want all the aliases, whatever the aliases are mapped to this particular user catalog has to be deleted, then you can run an export disconnect. After disconnecting from a master catalog, user catalog will release all the aliases and it will be an empty user catalog. And if you run an import connect again, the data sets, whatever the aliases previously were there, they will be gone. They won't be there. Full catalog recovery procedure. So if suppose something happened to your catalog and you are doing a recovery of your catalog, at that time you will be getting the data from the backup, but before that you have to disconnect your catalog from the master catalog. You have to redefine it as a fresh catalog. So before that you have to do a disconnect and make a normal obsolete catalog and delete it and redefine it and take the data from the backup. So these are the most important times, and dealing with a catalog is a very important. And there's another task called splitting of catalogs. Suppose if you are splitting a single catalog into two different types, into two different systems. So there are different types of catalog works, are very important works which you'll be doing, and this export disconnect plays a very crucial role while doing this important tasks with catalog. Coming to the parameters, there are only three parameters here, and they are very important in the normal parameters. Normally you have to specify export, which is a required parameter you will be giving. After that, the data set or the user catalog which you wanted to be disconnected. So you will be giving the user cat name which has to be disconnected. So the first parameter will be export, and the very next parameter will be the catalog name which you want. It can be some XYZ, ICFCAT or any of the things. If the user catalog is SMS managed, normally user catalogs will be defined in a non-SMS volumes. Okay, but if it is SMS managed, its volume serial is indicated at the time of disconnect. Okay, so just to remember, this volume serial is given, means if it's SMS managed, the volume serial will be indicated at the time of disconnect. You have to note that, or in the job you submitted, that will be present. But if you are planning to do a import connect again to that particular user catalog, you need that volume serial number to do that import connect. Okay, so the first parameter, as I told you, export will be there, a required parameter. Then you will be putting the dataset name which you want to be removed. And here comes, normally these two steps are, this two with a disconnect is enough to do a disconnect of that particular user catalog to a master catalog. If you want it to be removed from a master catalog, export, disconnect, and the catalog name are enough. But if you want that catalog to be removed from some other catalog, some particular name, then comes this catalog parameter, where you have, this is an optional parameter, because normally you can directly remove from a master catalog. But if you want your data, your catalog to be removed from some another catalog, at that time you specify this catalog parameter and give that particular cat name here. So the name of the user catalog from which a user catalog connector entry and associated alias entries are to be deleted. So if you want to delete the connection between two user catalogs, at that time you mention this catalog name and that particular user catalog name here. The catalog parameter is required when you want to direct the catalog's entry to a particular catalog other than the current master catalog on the system you are running this command on. Okay, so this is the, normally three parameters are enough. One is export, disconnect, user cat name if you are removing from master catalog. But if you are removing from some another user catalog, then you have to specify that user catalog name here, catalog, and that user catalog name here. Inside the catalog name, as I told you, you can specify a catalog name or alias name also. If you are specifying the catalog name or the alias name, both will be resolved to be a catalog. Example, suppose if abcd is an alias which relates to this particular user catalog, okay, then specifying either of abcd or this user catalog can be disconnected from this user catalog. So in that bracket, in catalog bracket, if you are giving even the alias or that particular user catalog name, that will be disconnected. And the third parameter which I told you, disconnect, which is must, which is another important parameter, specifies that user catalog to be disconnected. If you are not specifying disconnect, it will not do a disconnect of that particular parameter. So disconnect is needed. The connector entry of the user catalog is deleted from the master catalog. Also, user catalog's aliases are deleted. As I told you, all the alias entries will be deleted from the master catalog when you specify this keyword and when you are removing the connection between a user catalog and a master catalog. If a export is coded to remove a user catalog connector entry, disconnect is a required parameter. That's what. If you need an export to be removed, if you want the connection to be removed between two catalogs, disconnect is the particularly a required parameter. As I told you, as an export disconnect displays a volume serial number of a user catalog at the time of the disconnect. So when the disconnect completes, the user catalog means the output will give you a volume serial number. If you are tending to do a import connect again, you may need that volume serial information. I'll be giving you a brief example or brief video on import connect in upcoming videos. So I'll be telling you why this connection is required when you run an export disconnect, why that volume serial is needed for a import connect in that particular video. Now I'll show you some examples and end the video. So this is the video. This is the example in which you are disconnecting between a user catalog and another user catalog, not from a master catalog. Okay, this is the user catalog name rbluccat, which you are using a disconnect parameter and you are removing from a this particular user. So here you are breaking the connection between these two user catalogs. So as I told you, when you are using a user catalog, another catalog, you need this parameter to be there. So this is an IDCAMS job where you have to give an export, a particular import required parameter and disconnect import required parameter, a user catalog which you want to be removed, a required parameter, and this is an optional parameter, but you want to be removed from this particular catalog, so you have to mention this parameter also. So this is the basic job which you will be running. Basic IDCAMS export disconnect job. This is IDCAMS, this is export, this is disconnect, and this is a user catalog which you want to be removed from the master catalog. So if you want to remove the connection between master catalog and the user catalog, you run a basic disconnect IDCAMS export disconnect will just remove this connection. So guys, if you have any more suggestions to us or any videos you want us to make, please let us know in the comment section and we'll make the videos. And if you have any doubts on this particular video, or also kindly let us know. We'll just try to solve the situations also. If you have a particular situation in your account or in your problems, if in your particular work which you are doing, please let us know. We'll try to solve the issue if you want us to solve it. And kindly like, share and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.